spawning up in the top right position for Hellfire. It is MasTeR in the red.
And the teamless blue Zerg. It is JimRising from Mexico.
One of the most popular streamers of StarCraft 2. Probably the most popular streamer from, well, anywhere south of the United States and from Latin America or South America, I would say. I think he would win that pretty handily. Got a lot of fans, so shout out to JimRising's fans out there. MasTeR does not quite have the following, but certainly has the ability to make this a competitive match.
Yeah, this could be his showing, right? Maybe he's going to pick up a couple of fans here, trying to take out JimRising, or having just a good match against him, right? Could be enough to kind of have some heads turn into his direction as well.
Yeah, exactly. It's always nice to see. Now, I don't know why, but it feels like this gas timing is just a little bit quicker than normal here from JimRising. Maybe it's just that he saturated it right away.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm paying too much attention to that already, but I thought I was, and then TLO in the qualifying match, because he actually played in a few qualifiers versus some Protoss players for North America, as it were. He timed his speed out to finish at like 320 a couple of games, which is about 10 seconds earlier than normal. And he was actually able to get some pretty good work done with that. Like
Really?
Yeah, I think he got like 2 probes or 3 probes in one of the games where he snuck that ling speed out quicker. Like it was, oh no, sorry, it was in ZVT actually he did that. Yeah, he snuck into his opponent's natural expansion. Yeah, at one game he actually got like 4 SCVs with it. It was like, how did you just do this? It's like, well, that's that creativity showing through.
Yeah, TLO known for that, of course. We'll make that happen. There's still a little bit of a hole in the wall of MasTeR, so I mean, if he does want to try to make use of that very quick speed, there's a couple of extra seconds. There's still an opportunity there, but it's still going to be difficult, right? I imagine, with the gateway already having produced some units and, well, you know, probes being so close by, ready to put down something else.
Yeah, exactly. Now, he is actually sending the 4 lings across the map and might actually try and get in here. The ling speed is going to be about normally timed here. It's going to finish right up around that 330 mark, but he is going to try and sneak in here and get something done. The Stalker, it's putting itself into a bit of a harm's way position. Gateway, where is it? Oh, wow. Wait, what?
Well, you might think it's only 4 lings here, right? Because he's seen those with the probe in the middle of the map. This is 8 lings. Yeah, I guess he has the Adept in an okay spot. Could still be surrounded, but you gotta be careful. Oracle is here. He should be okay, right?
He's gonna lose this Adept, and he's gonna be forced to turn on the Pulsar Cannon. This Nexus, by the way, was taken off of just the 1 gateway. So if JimRising had actually committed to like 16 lings here, he could have gotten a ton done. Now, you don't want to just assume that your opponent is going to do something like this. Oh, wow. That's still the first Oracle. He just turned on the Pulsar Cannon twice. It does kill those lings, but like that means you're not going to get anything done with it on the other side of the map. And actually, we got to talk about this. He is not committing to an additional Oracle. It's going to be a Twilight Council and more gateways. We'll see. Now, with a 3rd gas, I don't think it's going to be Glaives, but this is extremely fast to be a quick link.
That would be interesting, though.
Okay,
we'll
be Glaives. All right.
Okay, Glaives with still another Oracle coming up. That's going to put him up to 2 Oracles. It's going to give him a nice bit of vision, seeing where the units are and whatnot. And it's gonna help out, I guess, as well to kind of clear a path for those Adepts. Maybe the Adepts will clear a path for the Oracles.
Yeah, this is a really interesting play right here. JimRising going up to a rather quick 4 gases. Meanwhile, the Queen's at the... Oh, okay, there we go. 5th and 6th gas coming on down. Yeah, this feels like this is going to be extremely fast mutas out of JimRising. He's pulled 4 drones off mining in the main. He is getting roaches defensively, but this feels like he really wants to go for a lot of mutas right here.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure at what kind of work count I would like to see JimRising here, because this is such an awkward timing, I guess, with the Adepts coming in at this point in time. But they do get spotted very, very quickly as soon as they leave the base. JimRising is aware, and we can see 9 of those roaches extra on the production tab are actually gonna pop out the moment when these Adepts arrive. So quite a useful grab of those units here. And let's see if he keeps most of those drones alive. That is the big question, of course. Shading into the natural base together with those oracles.
Yeah, this is... So far, this defense is quite nice from JimRising. He's lost a few drones, but he's going to kill so many of these Adepts. Oh, wow. They just all went down. That is... Okay, and there it is. There's that Spire coming on down. He does take a little bit of damage, but he defends pretty well. The number of roaches on the field is going to force out a huge response from MasTeR. He's trying to get into Blink and +1 weapons, but they are still a ways away from finishing up. At the absolute bare minimum, JimRising... Oh, hang on. He should be able to course a cancel on the 4th, but he might... Hello? I mean, it's fine to wait for the roach speed, but I think you definitely want to at least pressure on the other side of the map with how efficiently he held off those Adepts. I think you want to try and get something done.
Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, he did make 22 roaches. At least try to poke in. There's some potential for stasis trap, which could really screw you up in this situation. But I don't know. Yeah. I guess he's just playing it safe, right? He just wants to have a good shot with doing stuff with the Mutalisk, I suppose.
Yes. Does get supply blocked, by the way, pretty brutally at 122, but he's got a lot of gas in the bank, and he's going to be able to pop out quite a few Mutalisks. This is a pretty good Muta map. Now, the problem with waiting and not doing anything with this is that he's given his opponent time for Blink and +1 to finish. And now we've got MasTeR, who's going to be able to put some pressure on his opponent's side of the map. JimRising's got to be a little bit careful. He certainly cannot afford to lose this 4th base.
Oh dear. Well, the roaches are chasing them away. Looks like it's going to be enough for the time being. There are cannons on the production tab as well, so even if we do see a big flock of Mutalisk, perhaps MasTeR will be alright for a certain brief period of time in his own basis.
Yeah,
but yeah.
It looks like JimRising is actually kind of still... I think he's banking up for basically a massive Muta switch. There it is. 8 Mutas get thrown down all at once. He's still got a lot of gas in the bank. This is something a player Demi loves to do. And MasTeR, he's still trying to push forward. JimRising has been building enough ground units to deal with his Blink Stalker push. I almost wouldn't have minded if JimRising had, even now... Oh, there it is. There's the other Mutas coming on in. Yeah, 18 Mutas. Oh, gotta be careful not to go over his own units and reveal them. But if he just suddenly shows up in a base with 18 Mutas, it could actually just end the game. It could just be a sudden GG moment. But we're actually going to see he's just going to take the fight against the main army and forces the Blink back with everything. This is so scary right now for MasTeR. He is far down in army supply. JimRising is looking to run him down.
That's a long walks that fast that these dogs have to go on right now with those Mutalisks just endlessly picking away at the trail. Zerglings as well, nibbling on your starter fleet. Quite a perilous road to try and travel back. The infrastructure really helping out with the shield battery overcharge to force JimRising back. And I suppose now that he's aware of the Mutalisk, he can really start to take measures against that. We're seeing Phoenix in the production. But he's still moving out very aggressively with those Stalkers that fast. I'm not sure if that's a safe thing to do right now.
I think he has to force these Mutas back, but now, oh man, he gets what he wishes, but not really what he wanted. Ugh. This is going to be a lot of dead Stalkers here. They will be able to kind of trade with the Mutas, and they get far enough away from the Roaches and back to the shield battery that he might be able to hold, but that is a big if. There are some Immortals here that are going to help out a ton against these Roaches, and the Phoenixes are adding on some DPS. I don't know if JimRising should commit to this attack. Battery overcharge is still not available, but it's going to come online in just a matter of seconds. However, that's not going to be in time to save this Immortal. Nonetheless, though, it will be an overcommitment out of JimRising. He loses a ton of units there, really in a position where he didn't need to. All of a sudden, the supplies are even.
Yeah, and JimRising is only on 65 workers here, man. He's got an okay base count, but not a lot of mining happening at the moment. So losing that fight is actually a pretty big deal, and I might actually go to the point where I think MasTeR is just maybe in a winning position right now.
Yeah, it certainly feels like if these mutas can't get anything done, things are going to get very ugly here for JimRising, because he's still committing to the mutas, and the Phoenix count is growing ever larger. Ooh, nice job right there from MasTeR. Grabs one of those mutas, and it's a 5-base Protoss right now. Zealot run-by will get dealt with very easily by JimRising, so good job on that front. But, I mean, these mutas really need to find something. They are going to be +2 mutas, like, very soon. Which means that with this number of mutas, if he ever finds himself on top of the Phoenixes, he's going to volley down. Like, the splash damage alone might be enough to kill a second Phoenix. Like, he'll kill one, and he might instantly kill another one. It's still an incredibly perilous situation for MasTeR. But as long as he doesn't, you know, get caught out of position or find himself getting strung out somehow, I think I do like his position.
Yeah. Yeah, and of course you gotta be ever so careful with these Mutalisks. Oh my, that's some Phoenix there at the wrong place at the wrong time. Careful. I mean, JimRising's definitely getting a lot of work done with these Mutalisks as well. Meanwhile, attacking with some other units at the, what is that, 5th base? Oh, Stasis Trap doing its thing. Lovely job there.
Yeah, and I'm starting to, I'm really with you. I'm starting to favor MasTeR's position more and more. That felt like the scariest moment for MasTeR. And now he's even the army supply out. His Phoenix count is quite high. A great Zealot run-by on the bottom side. He's going to be able to get a couple of drones. And once again, JimRising is not on the greatest worker count. He's building 12 more drones, but MasTeR's going to find his 6th base. He's going to force a cancel right there. Now we've got the fleet beacon coming in. We've got a 6th base for MasTeR. Yeah, this feels like the Protoss players really taking control of the game at this point.
Yeah. I like what JimRising is doing, though, as well, with the Mutalisk and the Roaches. Maybe something he could have tried doing instead of the head-on assault previously, right? Where the Mutalisk are just kind of trying to benefit the most from their mobility as they can. Head-on fight, if you win that fight, it's just GG. But if you lose that fight, suddenly you're in a bit of troubled waters once more.
Yeah, it's a tough situation. Lack of a cancel right there for MasTeR is a little bit unfortunate. JimRising is also starting to build a bank, and he did drone back up quite heavily. He's back up to 80 drones. These run-bys, though, from MasTeR are really getting work done, and JimRising, he needs to take these watchtowers. This is the 2nd or 3rd run-by that he would have seen if he'd had those watchtowers, and there's no reason not to take them. He's got map control. That's kind of what the Mutalisks are doing, but this Anion Pulse Crystals upgrade is going to be a really big problem for Jim.
I think it's the first time I've ever heard someone call it by its name.
The purple laser one.
Yes, thank you. Now I understand. Yeah. Well, like, there's definitely things happening here for JimRising now. Rising, sorry. Yeah, it's the other Jim. In a pretty good way, and it is because of his multi-pronged harassment. Losing the 12 workers right there, bit nasty, but still manageable. Surprisingly ahead in the overall resources lost tab in the minerals there as well, so he's still trading out okay.
Yeah, that's kind of I just noticed that as well. I was like, oh, that's kind of funny. I think it's because of the loss of all those zealots.
Yeah, probably.
Now, these Phoenixes, they are going to find the mutas, and that Anion Pulse Crystals means that he can pick off, pretty much all of them if he pays close attention. Now, JimRising will actually be able to find a good number of them. Bit of miss micro from MasTeR. When you have that much of a range advantage, you should be able to pick those units off with nothing else going on the other side of the map. But now we have got JimRising transitioning into Hydras. He is going to have this base denied again. He does have another base in the bottom right corner. Oh, MasTeR. Oh, no. The move command right there was disastrous.
Okay, is it still a winnable position, however? He's got to watch out for the Mutalisk. Okay, Phoenix on points. Yeah, that is the worst case scenario, especially with Banelings. It's like, oh no.
Fortunately, he did have mostly Stalkers in the front, so they kind of tanked the Banelings a little bit, but still, that's MasTeR taking a pretty brutal engagement. A really unforced error there as well. He had a huge upgrade lead. It was +3 attack versus just +1 on the Roaches, Ravagers, Hydras, +2 melee on the Banes. But now the Mutas are going to be able to kind of provide some help. I think there's a counterattack on the other side of the map. With all this creep here, actually, JimRising might be able to run this army down.
There's only 3 Phoenix left, man. I think MasTeR, during the previous exchange, may have had a fight with his Phoenix and the Mutalisk, and, well, it turns out he lost because there's not that many left anymore.
Yeah, now this is, this is a little bit dangerous right here for JimRising. He's going to lose a lot of Hydras on the move command as well, both of them making some pretty big errors. Now, he did find the 6th base of his opponent, and we're actually at a point where MasTeR is kind of in trouble economically. Oh, another 2 Phoenixes go down. We need to see some rebuild on these Phoenixes. The Muta count is still at 15. These are +2 Mutas. Actually, these are 2-1 Mutas. These are fighty boys indeed. And even though the Cannons and Stalkers are going to be able to get in on top of this, now JimRising finally finds a soft underbelly in a natural expansion.
Ooh, there we are. Okay, workers dropping left, right, and center. The Mutalisk flock has diminished slightly, but it's still kicking. 41 Mutalisk have been killed this game so far. That's a fun number.
Yeah, this is just a messy slugfest of a game right here. Behind this, JimRising has gotten up to Hive. He now adds on, that's a lot of powerful upgrades. +3 melee, Ultralisk Cavern, and Adrenal Glands, as well as obviously that +1 Carapace, even though you don't need a Hive for it. That's a big power spike he's queuing up for himself in about 2 to 2.5 minutes time. There's no Immortals on the field. There hasn't been for a long time. If he can get like 3 to 5 Ultras out and just get a big wraparound with the creep spread that he's got, oh my god, he revelated and saw 1 tumor. Ooh.
We really aren't seeing any power units, right? The powerhouse kind of units. The Storm, no. Well, do we have Storm now? We don't have Storm now. I see Eye Templar, but not Storm. There's no Disruptors, no Colossi, nothing like the sorts, and I think that's kind of the reason why JimRising is trading so efficiently right here.
Yeah.
Here again.
And especially with the fight taking place on creep, those Mutas with their great upgrades are actually able to contribute a surprising amount of DPS to the fight as well. MasTeR is going to get pretty much routed here, and once again, he will get out with just the Blink Stalkers, and now that economy that he had is not going to be enough to carry the losses he's suffered. He will be trying to desperately rebuild the 6th base. Look at the resources lost, actually. The battle report, oh my god, I don't think I've ever seen a battle report that one-sided against armies like this. Now, granted, it doesn't include the Banelings that were used by JimRising, but man, oh man, that was an incredible fight for Jim.
Yeah. Yeah, he's just getting good trades. In all honesty, I'm surprised, right? It's not really the way you imagine the CVP go usually.
Yeah.
But hey, here we are.
Especially when the Zerg is basically on layer tech units for the most part. Like there's no Hive units. I mean, I would argue that like +3 Adrenal Glands Lings are Hive units, but they didn't have +3 or Adrenal Glands for most of this game.
Yeah, exactly. There's no lurkers. There's just regular Hydras with roaches and stuff like that. But then the Protoss is also, it's kind of stuck in this mid-tier for the time being. So, oh my goodness.
Lot of Banelings right there.
So many things happening here. Yeah, but I think you're right. I think JimRising, I'm saying it again. JimRising is taking this quite well in his hands right now. It's going to be hard to see him kind of falter from this position. Since it's just so hard to see a clear development in tech here for MasTeR coming through and helping him out.
Yeah, he is adding that disruptor on now, but I mean, it's one of his robotics facilities is depowered, which means he's only building one at a time. he's not already on like 6 disruptors or something like that. Jim, these mutas, I cannot believe how long they have survived in this game for. It's actually ridiculous at this point. They are slowly and surely being whittled down, but I mean, at this point, like, any value he gets from them is just gravy. Like, they're on... Look at Jim's bank at this point. He's almost got a 3K bank, and he's getting into chitinous plating. Ooh, I like this as well, getting more and more upgrades for his ground units. This game is starting to feel completely out of reach for MasTeR.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess the disruptors are his best shot here, right? It's good that he's getting them. Might be a little bit too late overall to try and make his way back here. Let's take a look. Good shots on the Hydralisk. So has to do with the Ultralisk. Good to have a disruptor shot on that as well. Oh, yeah, that's a fungal. That's it, right?
That is a big fungal right there. Battery overcharge will heal it up, and actually the infestors are a little bit exposed. With the battery overcharge, this is going way better than expected for MasTeR. But even if he holds right now, I mean, you got to look at the Remax. 9 more Ultras coming on in. And this is one of those fights where you think it's so good for yourself as MasTeR, and it really is. That was probably the best that fight could have gone. But then JimRising's bank kicks in. And you just are not going to be able to deal with that Remax. He's going to need basically his disruptors to kill the Ultralisks in like 3 separate waves. JimRising says, screw it, 9 Ultralisks is not enough. He's going for 15.
Yeah, I love that he's just sending in 2 as well. Like, it's just a waypoint, and as soon as they're done, he's like, okay, just go kill some Protoss buildings here.
Oh,
MasTeR, I mean, he could respond to it, right? He could send his units there, but I mean, he's going to leave those 2 mining bases that are still doing things.
Yeah, this is wild. I don't think we see games like this very often. Ooh, the disruptors. Uh-oh. They can't fire their shots out because they would just be chomped through. We are going to see 2 of the disruptors going down. One of the shots lands. I think actually killed a few infestors, but it is probably not going to matter. The space cows are just chomping on through. Nice battery overcharge and good positioning on the left side, but this isn't even all of the ultras. It will actually end up being a hold, but once again, it's an at what cost situation.
Yeah, most of his army once again in shambles. 43 workers alive, but the income advantage has just been steadily in Jim's favor. And, well, so is the units lost stat, in a matter of fact.
Yeah.
I guess MasTeR is doing better on the gas count there, but yeah, I'm not sure if that's either a really good sign for him. Maybe,
Yeah, it's not really enough. Important to note, by the way, JimRising took one of his opponent's bases, and he actually did put it out of position, just ever so slightly. Not a huge deal. But yeah, it's one of those things you got to watch out for. Now, MasTeR, yeah, he's down 100 supply. Even though JimRising hasn't knocked out his opponent's bases in the top left, this is the army that should simply just run over his opponent. The stasis wards could create some problems, but there's no static defenses on the top left. JimRising is going to come in from multiple angles. Nice fungal growth right there. And, oh, wow, that stasis ward actually saves the infestors.
Yeah. They won't get disrupted this time.
Not this time. Yeah. Battery overcharge is actually going to be able to help out a fair bit here, but the rest of the army comes back from the mission of killing the 6. Will wrap around on MasTeR's army, and MasTeR getting basically knocked back down to the Stone Age. Will finally tap out, and JimRising will take game number 1. A very fun series, or a very fun game. Longest game I think we've had on the B stream so far.
Yeah, just overall in all the days, or today, you mean?
Between both today and yesterday.
Really? Okay.
Yeah,
nice.
Yesterday we had maybe 2 games that went over 10 minutes, and neither of them went over 11 minutes.
It didn't feel like a very long game, right? But maybe that was because of the just kind of mid-tier unit compositions that we had for such a long period.
Yes. Yeah, it's they both played like relatively low tech for a long time.
Yeah,
but that was a pretty fun game. A lot of situations where, you know, with our information, we're able to be like, no, he should have made this decision. He should have done this differently. But it's those games that are the most fun, because it's very clear that that was a little bit of uncharted territory, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, it was very unclear where it was going to go to, right? Like, I thought MasTeR would be in a quite comfortable position there for a bit, but then turned out that Jim still had a couple of tricks up his sleeve, turning it all around again.
Yeah. Yeah, he certainly did. Now we are going to be getting into game number 2. It's going to be on Moondance here. Should be a pretty fun match, and yeah, we're ready to get pretty much right on into it. This is... I'm kind of looking forward to this after the first game. That was a fun game.
Yeah. A lot of stuff happening, right? A lot of emotion coming up high when the Stalkers or the move commands happening for both players as well. It's not perfect, but you know, sometimes StarCraft doesn't have to be perfect to be as entertaining as it can be.
Yeah, and sometimes it's even better when it's not perfect. Sometimes it's the like difficult situations that are hard to interpret that make it the most entertaining.
Yeah. It's the hardships, right? It's like, oh no, that shouldn't have happened, but it did. Oh no.
Yeah. I think probably the biggest moment there for that one was the move command of MasTeR's army. I think that one really cost him a lot, and maybe even the game itself. As we have spawning up at the top left, it is JimRising, up 1-0 in the series.
And his opponent from Brazil, representing Hellfire. Can he make up for it, tie up the series? It is MasTeR.
I didn't notice right there in the little emblem it actually says Hellfire. That's a neat little setup. I like that. That's cool.
Yeah.
A little emblem you got on thanks to the logos mod. Cool to see. But yeah, that's that was a fun game number 1, and I hope game 2 is more of the same.
I agree. Yeah, I would like to see, well, maybe, I don't know if I necessarily need JimRising going into the Mutalisk again, but that could give MasTeR a bit of another opportunity, right? If he recognizes the play, to perhaps go into the Phoenix a little bit quicker, or maybe he's going to be able to control them a bit better, so he ends up on top of the air battle there.
Yeah, I wonder what would have happened if, when he had those Anion Pulse Crystal Phoenixes, like, there was like 8 or 10 of them on top of the, like, 25 +2 mutas. If he had just focused on the micro, and it just really it just killed off all the mutas, I wonder if that game would have gone differently. Obviously, the move command is, like, the biggest blunder we can point to and be like, okay, if he just doesn't do that, the game's outcome is very likely incredibly different. But the mutas did continue to cause quite a ruckus.
Yeah, it's what really kept him in the slums, right? As a poor boy.
Yeah. So well put. He was not feeling particularly Mr. Burns-esque after all that happened.
Yeah. Oh, no Slumdog Millionaire this time around.
Certainly not. Something very interesting coming in from JimRising, by the way, is a double Overlord scout. We really don't see this, like, very much anymore. It is starting to come a little bit more into, come back into vogue, I would say, because of, you know, a lot of players are not building Void Rays anymore. But now MasTeR, upon seeing that it's double Overlord, and like JimRising has shown him, he has very clearly shown him that it's double Overlord. Maybe you just pop out a Void Ray as MasTeR and pick off those 2 Void Rays, or even a Phoenix, or those 2 Overlords, I should say.
Yeah, it's a bit shorter production time, I believe, right, for the Phoenix. So
yes,
and no,
exactly.
Still goes for the Oracle. Okay. Huh.
Yeah, so that's
it's going to be a while before those Overlords get back home anyway. Maybe we'll get something afterwards. But I don't know. Yeah, I think the better play here. I agree with you. My personal take would have been a Phoenix or a Void Ray as well, because of the Scout, right? What do you really expect the Oracle to still get done damage-wise across the map? Probably you're going to get more done just killing those 2 Overlords and, you know, guarantee that damage.
Yeah, exactly. And when you kill them so quickly, It's expensive for the Zerg to replenish. Now, obviously, a Void Ray is not cheap, but Phoenix is not cheap. But I think the disruption you can get is pretty nice. It just tells us that MasTeR doesn't like to alter things up. And oh my goodness, okay, well, he is going to be rewarded for this. JimRising moving out of position. His Spore Crawler late loses 7 drones to this first Oracle. That is not supposed to happen.
That is not supposed to happen at all.
Not after it was scouted, especially.
That is very much worth more than 2 Overlords.
Yeah. I think anyone would take that trade for sure.
Yep.
Oh,
he's like, you know what, let's just keep making Oracles then, alright? This is working. There's so many Overlords. There's like 4 Overlords you could take out. He knows about all of them as well.
Yeah, that's actually... like, yeah, it's a lot of Overlords that are just kind of in precarious positions on the map. We usually don't see that in PvZ because of the potential of something like this, but he might just be saying, JimRising that is, that, okay, MasTeR just doesn't build Void Ray. Like, I know this, and I know him well as a player, and I know that he's not going to do that. If that were the case, then he would be correct.
Yeah, very nice if that were the case. Managing the Oracle aggression now as well, not taking too much further damage. And should be looking into a 4th base in the near future.
Yeah, should be heading towards that. He's playing that hero style. So, I mean, with the Blink, with the +1, with the Oracles, you really do want to get that 4th base down as quickly as possible, really pump that production and get a crazy eco off those 4 gases. It's a lot of fun to see and rather difficult for the Zerg player to deal with.
For sure. You think we're gonna get Mutalisk here again, or?
I feel like
gas on the 3rd.
I feel like Jim is a Mutalisk enthusiast. Like, I feel like he loves his mutas. Well, he loves his mutas actually in every matchup. He loves them in ZVT, he loves them in ZVZ, loves them in ZVP as well. They are fun units, and if you can utilize them effectively, they can be quite strong units. But like you said, no 6th gas at least for a while. Okay, and there it is. It is going to be a Hydralisk Den. He's getting the +1 missile, the Roach speed. Yeah, it's just going to be Roach Hydra, most likely into Lurkers. MasTeR. Oh, Oracle is going to be intercepted. Boom. It does go down. Nice job from Jim with the Queen positioning.
Tough break there. Yeah, the Hydralisk should work perfectly fine here against what MasTeR is doing so far. I think we're still just on the Twilight Council. There's no Robo. Of course, he has the Stargate. That's not going to be that tremendous against the Hydralisk. He's going to have to try and make something work here with what he's got. You know what? He forces out a fair amount of units, and then he probably just wants to back out of there.
Yeah, it was a nice little creep clear right here. Like, the theory of this style is that as long as you keep these Stalkers alive... Oh, not the best blink right there. Kind of blinked everything back and not even all the way back. As long as you keep these Stalkers alive, like, they just continue to gain value over time. Now, we are going to see not the cleanest blink micro from MasTeR here. Does lose a fair number of these units. Okay, well, when you're playing the hero style, all of what just happened cannot afford to happen for MasTeR. 5 Stalkers for 5 Roaches and 11 Zerglings, and then you just lose 2 Oracles to the Corrosive Vials. Yeah, that's not an option. You can't afford that.
Yeah, that's very painful indeed, and he's going to be up against Lurkers pretty soon. With his best tech available being the Blink Stalkers still. Well, they're added now by Charge Looks, but I don't know if you ever tried to bring Lurkers with Charge Looks before Steadfast, but I don't think that goes well.
It's not a great scenario unless you can get an incredible concave. And MasTeR, oh man, he just stepped way too far forward. JimRising going for a lot of Zerglings very suddenly. Oh, that is a really nice Zealot run by, and that's going to allow MasTeR to force Jim to partially retreat. And meanwhile, yeah, Jim kind of commits with the Lings a little bit. 4 drones do fall. That's a big move for MasTeR right there.
Very nice. This stopped a lot of mining, actually. Look at the income graph. That is a big peek into the red right there.
Yeah, 3 arrows. 3 red arrows there for MasTeR. That's a big spike. Meanwhile, we do have Hive well on the way for Jim, so he is going to be most likely heading to those high-tech lurkers, which are so powerful. MasTeR, once again, the kind of highlight of his play has been these Zealot run-bys, I gotta say.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely. I'm just looking at these targets right now. I think they're doing pretty good. There's another fight on the other side. That's going more into JimRising's favor.
Yeah, this
sorry, go on. Yeah, just needs to group up his units and try to deal with this.
Oh, very aggressive blink forward in on top of the Ravagers. Unfortunately for him, JimRising popping out about 5-6 roaches from that Precious base. Oh man, that was a... JimRising could not have planned that better for how the tail end of that went, but it still is looking good enough for MasTeR. There is another Zealot run by on the natural expansion. JimRising sticking around way too long with those roaches. And once again, it's the Zealot run-bys that are kind of discombobulating Jim a little bit.
That's so funny. The moment those roaches are far away enough, there's just more Zealots. There's always more Zealots. It's amazing. All right. Very well played there. But, I mean, one thing I'm noticing is that we still don't have a single Hyperlist in the field, do we? All this money was invested to try and get the Lurker tech, and Lurkers would be amazing in these situations here, but I guess Jim's just not feeling comfortable enough to get himself there.
No, MasTeR was able to turn this back around with the constant Zealot aggression, and Jim, like you said, he committed into those units but wasn't able to actually make them work. And MasTeR, his micro cleaned up significantly since that, I would say, second Stalker engagement, the one where he lost his Oracles. And with that, he is able to snowball this game before the Lurkers can be bought. Well done indeed.
Yeah, surprising, man. I thought Jim had that on lockdown when he already had the Lurker Den on the way, but just never had the opportunity to make use of it. Very well played there by MasTeR. Just, yeah, nice micro.
Yeah.
But, you know, after that, as you said, yeah, the second Stalker fight.
Certainly left something to be desired. This game was a lot more standard, I would say, in general. But, yeah, well done.
Inside and Out, our next map.
Yes.
Could be an interesting one as well. Wondering if we're going to see the... I'm hoping to see the Mutalisk play again from Jim. I think seeing how the previous game went, right, and how the first game went, if I was in Jim's shoes, I'd probably be thinking to myself, like, all right, let's just stick to what we did, you know, what we had going for ourselves in game number 1 there. But yeah, well, we'll have to see.
Yeah, it feels like MasTeR was just more comfortable in the more standard game, which is surprising because Jim has always been such a profound macro player. I don't know how much he's been playing leading up to this. I know that, you know, he's played at least a little bit in the last couple of weeks. I don't know if he's been playing a ton overall. He is one of those players that played so much that, you know, his mechanics don't just disappear. Not at all.
Yeah.
They're still there. But it is quite interesting.
Yeah, quite nice. Like riding a bicycle with, you know, if a bicycle had 30, 40 something buttons to press.
Exactly. All right, we're getting into game number 3 here. Spawning down on the bottom left for Estral Esports. It is JimRising.
His opponent in the red, playing with the Protoss pieces, it is the Brazilian from Team Hellfire, MasTeR.
And the winner of this will make it into the decider match of the group, where I'm not sure who won in the first match. I would guess it was probably Kelazur, but I mean, Cham is certainly capable of going toe-to-toe with Kela, so... And Cham would have ping advantage, as Kelazur is currently living in Europe, so...
Right. He's back in Europe, eh?
Yes, although, yeah, it looks like...
back and forth a lot.
Oh, neat. I didn't know that.
It seems that way.
But it looks like
I know
looks
he
like
did his studies there and stuff. Yeah, continue onwards. I guess I'm going off track here a little bit. Continue onwards, please.
no worries, no worries. I'm good with talking about. He's a lovely fellow, by the way, Diego.
Yeah,
He's a great guy. But yeah, no, it looks like he did in fact 2-0 Cham. So Kelezer, no speed bumps on his journey, was able to 4-0 his group and make it in first place. Now, something, even if Special does make it out of his group in second place, there is going to be one of them getting knocked to the lower bracket if they, because first seed would obviously play second seed, which would mean that the winner bracket the I guess opening match, winner bracket semifinals as opposed to the winner bracket finals, would be Kelezer versus Special, which we always expect that to be the grand finals. Now, it still could be that, but it's kind of a funky setup already in this Latin American regional so far.
Yeah, it's not the region where we anticipate those kind of upsets from, right?
No, certainly not.
Just it's like similar to the China region, right? How many players do we know from there that will just appear and then beat Time, one of those already quite well established? We know he's good, we know he's strong, he's been playing with the very best for so long already. And then to have someone else just kind of come in and be like, no, you know what, let me take his seat. That's kind of a similar feeling I would have here.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting when we see that kind of thing.
Yep.
I don't think that Time has quite the stranglehold on the Chinese region that Special has had for so long, but it is a good comparison. I think it's definitely a relevant one. Let's talk about this game though. Let's see what's going on. Looks like JimRising once again setting up with this, like, I send 4 lings across the map. Oh, this time he is going to try and scout into the main base, but he's going to get denied. Unfortunate that in game number 1, he had the opportunity to get something done, and in game 3, when he actually tries to force it, that's when his opponent is fully prepared for it and shuts it down.
Always the case. Same for my games, Jim. Don't worry about it.
It's the worst feeling when that happens, especially in a best-of series.
Exactly. Well, Oracles are coming in again, and they are being spotted. Let's see, once again activated for the Zerglings, but I guess that is a good thing. The Oracles in game number 2 in particular, the one that MasTeR won, they were quite phenomenal. Right? Yeah. It was like, how many drones was it? 8 or 7? And that was the first Oracle after getting scouted. Yeah, so it's already an entirely different game.
Oh, what the? He shows he literally builds it under the Overlord. Why?
What are we supposed to say?
just says, you know what, I'm gonna go for the same thing I went for. What a Chad move right there from MasTeR. He's like, try and stop me, bruh. I'll tell you what's up.
Come and get it.
Oh man. But yeah, it was 7 drones early on. We will see the double Oracle getting into the main base. He's able to grab 3 drones, but it's much later in the game, and it's with 2 Oracles, and you know, it's a much less damage overall. Still,
yeah,
it's a nice little bit of damage. You obviously are loving to get any damage you can find without losing too much. JimRising once again building roaches. Does he's seen the forge, so you can't be thinking that it's. Wait, he didn't just. No, they just popped out. These roaches confuse me. I don't think he needs to build those. You should be pretty sure that it's either charge or blank with this.
Yeah, we already had a weird adept timing though, right? From MasTeR, the previous. What was it? Game number 1?
Yes, game 1.
Which was pretty similar to the setup here. So I don't blame Jim for just getting those extra safety roaches. It would definitely be on my mind as well.
4 drones do go down, but he loses one of the Oracles. It will be 4 adepts trying to get into the natural as well, from MasTeR into JimRising's natural. He ends up getting 5 drones in total, but really doesn't pay for itself with that. This...
Well, that and the added-in extra roaches that he got himself, right?
Nice, yeah.
But that does start to add up a little bit together.
The thing is, though, that's just an unforced error kind of out of JimRising if he doesn't get anything done with those roaches. Yeah, oh my god. I didn't realize he didn't start his layer. Oh, that layer is so late. I was like, man, okay, we're going to see a Spire pretty soon. Like, he's getting up to 6 gases. It should be just a matter of time, but no, he just started the layer, so his tech is actually so late.
Oh, boy. Hope he won't mind. He's got himself some Zerglings and Roaches still to work with. I guess he has them in a position where he could try to do a counter-attack or something still if he sees MasTeR ever trying to approach him with the Blink Stalkers.
Yeah, this is a weird series, man. I feel like there must be some mind games going on below the surface that I'm not aware of. That's what I feel like is probably the case here. We are going to see that layer finishing up, and it is a second Evo chamber here for JimRising, so he might elect to go for the melee and okay, Carapace instead of the +1 missile. So not double attack upgrades. He probably now he's getting a Hydralisk gun. Okay, I'm very confused by that. We're going to see a little bit of a move out here. Let's see.
Nice setup from the Stasis. There's one more. Gotta be careful. Does get a fair amount of Zerglings, but not as many to just straight up win the engagement, I think.
Yeah, not quite enough, but it did kind of shut down the concave a little bit, the wraparound. So nice job from MasTeR kind of setting that up. Now he does blink back, but he doesn't blink back quickly enough. The Oracles will cover these Roaches and Ravagers. It is a lot of Oracles coming on in, and these Hydras are actually going to be quite beneficial if he just adds on a few Hydras. Maybe he knows that MasTeR likes to go for a lot of Oracles with the Blink Stalker play on inside and out. It is something that is quite good against just pure Roach Ravager, but against a player that, like, before you've seen that it's pure Roach Ravager, it feels a little bit risky to go for it blind. Nice micro right here from MasTeR, blinking back those Stalkers individually and showing that micro that I was kind of asking for in the previous game. This is actually looking very dangerous right now for JimRising.
Yeah. He does start to add some of those Hydralisk, and as you were saying, they do deal a lot more damage against these gateway forces. Just gotta keep on his toes. Wants to defend his next, the hatchery.
Yeah.
Probably if he loses it, that might already be too much damage for him at this point.
Yeah, as it is, the army supplies are even. The upgrades, it's +2 on these Stalkers. They're just trading so efficiently, and now the Hydras with nothing to tank for them are going to start getting chipped away at. Yeah, that's once again, the Zealot run-bys from MasTeR are just really discombobulating JimRising, and with some great Blink Micro from MasTeR, he is going to take down this base. That is a phenomenal game. MasTeR really settling in after game number 1.
Yeah, for sure. Finding more Zerg units to kill here. We'll have his Zealots trampled, but I think that's a drone actually underlying. Ignores that, goes for his Spine Crawler instead. The Stalkers are still moving forwards. A lot of stuff for Jim is dying, but he has managed to get those Lurkers out this time around.
Yeah, and that should hopefully allow him to stabilize. However, he is still just in such a rough position after the loss of that 4th base. He's got another base on the bottom side, but now we've got MasTeR starting to clear the creep out of the middle of the map. That is a great move from him. Doesn't get this one active tumor. Ooh, that's very unfortunate. Yeah, he's using all the revelations. Really wants to clear these up. These Lurkers, they're out in such small numbers that they really can't cover every attack path. And now the Zealots are going to run by into the natural expansion, just running right over that Lurker, in fact. Saying, I don't care. I think that's the right call. Meanwhile, oh, the Revelation is going to be able to get these Lurkers down. Just an overwhelming number of Blink Stalkers. Now we're going to see the 4th base falling. And MasTeR, he has fully taken control of this game. JimRising, I don't see what he can do at this point.
Not much, it feels like. For a moment I thought he may have a chance because his expansion is so close to that of MasTeR. But there he is. GG. Good luck, guys. What a lad. What a lad.
You love to see
What
it.
lost.